It's the year 2060, and things are looking up. Okay, maybe not upwards of 30 degrees Celsius upwards, but that's only because of the massive climate engineering project that has stabilized Earth's atmosphere and put a stop to rising global temperatures. The era of unlimited economic growth is over, and humanity is now living within ecological boundaries. This is the climate correction era. Welcome to the next episode of the World in 2069 series. Today we look at how the world could change between 2060 and 2100. Here are 5 major trends that will shape the world. As the climate correction era begins in 2060, most countries have implemented some form of carbon neutrality. Fossil fuels have been phased out and replaced by renewables. But this hasn't been enough to turn around the damage done to the atmosphere. Global warming of more than 3 degrees Celsius is locked in, and rising sea levels. Ocean acidification and disruptions to weather patterns continue to threaten human civilization. So governments take drastic measures. By 2080, a series of large-scale geoengineering projects have been completed to stabilize Earth's atmosphere. Some of these have been controversial, such as the injection of reflective particles into the stratosphere to deflect sunlight away from the planet, or the construction of giant artificial upwelling currents in the ocean to mix cold water from the deep ocean with warm water at the surface in order to moderate temperatures. Others have focused on removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere with machines that suck carbon dioxide out of the air. Not everyone is happy with these drastic measures. Some see the climate correction era as a dark age for humanity, when governments took control of the atmosphere and the oceans, and when the idea that humans could live beyond ecological boundaries was finally put to rest. Another consequence of the climate correction era is that it forces humanity to densify. With rising sea levels, entire island nations and coastal cities have been inundated. Drastic measures are needed to save the people who live there. Floating ocean cities are one solution. Countries like the Netherlands and Singapore have expertise in building floating structures, and they are at the forefront of this movement. Other countries follow suit, and by 2080, entire metropolises are built over the water, home to millions of climate refugees. On land, mass reforestation projects are underway to suck carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Some countries, such as Costa Rica, already have ambitious plans to become carbon neutral by 2050 and to restore and expand their forests. Other countries follow suit, and by 2080, the world's forests have recovered somewhat from the rampant deforestation of the 20th century. But not all countries are so enthusiastic about fighting climate change. Many developing countries see the efforts to limit global warming as a new colonialism, a way for rich countries to tell poor countries how to use their resources. These countries point to the fact that the emissions reductions demanded of them will hurt their economies and keep their citizens trapped in poverty, while rich countries like the United States and Australia refuse to take responsibility for their historical emissions or provide financial assistance to help developing countries reduce their emissions. By 2100, 2 groups of nations have emerged: those that have accepted the need to limit emissions, and those that haven't. The first group includes most of the countries in Europe, as well as some island nations in the Pacific and the Caribbean. These countries have invested heavily in renewable energy and now boast some of the cleanest air and water in the world. The second group includes the United States, Australia, Canada, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. These countries continue to rely on fossil fuels, although some have made efforts to invest in renewable energy. The competition for resources between these 2 groups of countries grows increasingly tense, especially as both groups vie for influence over the Arctic. Thanks to climate change, the Arctic ice cap has melted, opening up the Northwest Passage and making it possible to exploit the vast oil and gas reserves beneath the Arctic Ocean. Both groups of countries scramble to lay claim to the region and its resources, leading to increased tensions and the risk of conflict. The climate correction era is a time of great challenges, but also of great opportunities. Humanity has been forced to change its ways in order to survive, but in doing so, has created a world that is more sustainable and just. Only time will tell how this experiment will play out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.